there, folks. How are y'all doing? My name is Rees, and welcome to episode 34, where after a great deal of consideration, I've decided to not talk about electricity. Can you imagine? No. I hope you folks didn't mind all of the disclaimers. It's just that the last two episodes of this series, as well as the last two episodes of the channel members only videos, at least I think the last two, if I'm not remembering incorrectly, were all recorded on the same day, and throughout the course of that day, I learned a lot. I shouldn't say the same day, the same 2 days. It was over the course of last weekend, and I learned quite a bit as I recorded those and edited those, to the point where I was like, oh, hey, wait a minute, I'm doing some of this wrong. I need to make a video clarifying it. I spent a great deal of time on the wiki. I actually got a lot of comments from folks on those videos, pointing out some of the things that I learned on the wiki, although some folks also got it wrong. I won't name and shame. Let's just say I've done a lot of experimenting, and I'm going to be showing it all to you here today. I'm not just going to be explaining electricity. All right? I'm going to be demonstrating it, although explaining electricity will probably be the title of this video. So, some of you may remember, way back, like 2 or 3 episodes ago, or last episode. What did we do last episode? Was this last episode? It could have been. So much time has passed, I can't remember. I set up the solar shelf, and one of the design decisions I made with the solar shelf was to have 8 solar panels per MFSU. And my reasoning on that was that I believed that 8 solar panels would produce 512 EU per tick, and the MFSU would be a bottleneck because it wouldn't be able to receive more than that. So if we had, say, more than 8 solar panels, more than 512 EU per tick, it simply would not pass through the MFSU. Turns out, I was right. And wrong. At the same time. And it all comes down to a fundamental misunderstanding of how power works in this pack. One that I think many of us share. See, we all know about the EU per tick, but that's not really a correct way to view power in this pack. More so, we should be viewing it as EU per packet. You see, the way that power is sent in this mod pack is that whatever tier of energy you're working with, let's say low voltage, 32 EU per tick, high voltage, 512, it's actually sending all of that power in a single packet. So with high voltage, that is a packet, 1 packet per tick, and that packet contains 512 EU. And sends out one of those every tick. So let's see what we've got here to work with. Well, we have 2 banks of 8 solar panels, and we know that each of these will produce 512 EU per tick because they're all medium voltage. So if we hook this one up to this MFSU, and then we use our EU reader to read this cable right here, we'll see that, yeah, 512 EU per tick is traveling through it. Now, if we hook up a second set, we know that nothing will blow up, but we also know that this is a high voltage machine. It deals in 512 EU per tick. So, theoretically, the way that I thought that it would work was that if we hooked up the second one, nothing was going to blow up or get damaged. This would just be a bottleneck, and it wouldn't accept more than 512, or half from each machine. Turns out, I was wrong. If we have another reading here, you'll see that we're getting 1,024 EU per tick, or 512 times 2. How does that work? Well, as it happens, your cables can carry a set amount of power per packet, but an infinite amount of packets. So these cables are able to send all of that power to the MFSU, and the MFSU is able to receive it. But is the MFSU able to send more than 1 packet per tick? Well, as it happens, no. No, it cannot. So let me first off fix the floor, because that is of paramount importance. And then we're going to hook up one of these MFSUs, and we've got the power coming in, and the power coming out will be 512 EU per tick. If we add another connection here to another MFSU, each of these are both capable of receiving 512 EU per tick, or an infinite amount, really. Well, what we should see is this thing will send out 2 packets, right? 2 packets of 512 EU per tick, right? Well, no. If we have a reading here, we'll see that, 512. Yeah. So even though this machine is capable of receiving an infinite number of packets, so for instance, we could have 1,000 banks of these solar panels, crazy amounts of voltages coming through here. So long as each individual packet doesn't exceed 512 EU per tick, an infinite number of packets can be pumped into this MFSU, but it's only going to output a single packet per tick, meaning that the power is going to be split amongst these. It will not send out 2 packets, meaning that even though I was technically wrong, so you see each of these is getting, if we do their measurements here, 256. Even though I was technically wrong up there, we could string all of these solar panels together and have them all go into an MFSU. We could do that. It would technically receive all the packets. It'll still be a bottleneck. I was wrong on it being a bottleneck on the receiving end, but I was right about it being a bottleneck on the output. No matter how much power it can accept, the MFSU will only put out 512 EU per tick. It'll only output a single packet, even when it has 2 destinations that are both able to receive a full packet of 512. Something else I should note is I did try these in multiple different configurations to see if maybe the split in the cable was the problem, but no, this thing is limited to its output. And the same is actually true of transformers. So we're going to rotate that around there and plug it into the MV transformer. Now, the way that the transformers work is they accept a packet of a higher tier or 4 packets of a lower tier, because they can work in reverse. But what it does is it takes that 512 EU packet and it breaks it up into 4 medium voltage to low voltage, so 432? Is that right? No. Okay, sorry, let me start over. It'll take the 1 packet of 512 and spit out 4 packets of 128. Or if you want to go medium voltage to high voltage, you can. 4 packets of 128 to 1 packet of 512 is an option. But that means that if we hook this up here and we take out our e-reader and we start a fresh reading, we will see that it's outputting absolutely nothing right now. Why is that? Hold on. There we go. Okay, so if we have a new reading right here, we will see that this is putting out 512 EU per tick. This is taking that 1 packet, that 512 EU packet, and breaking it into 4 packets of 128, but 4 times 128 is still 512, meaning the exact same amount of power is being passed through this cable. Now, let's do something wacky. Let's instead reconfigure this, so I need to reorient this now. There we go. And let's send that power from the medium voltage to the low voltage, right? So remember, 1 packet out of here, 4 packets out of here. Will all 4 of those packets go into this LV transformer and then will that spit out 16 packets? No. As it happens, no. I thought it might work like that too, but if we have a look here now, we'll see that, nope, 128 per tick. Because this will only receive a single packet. It will output 4 packets, though. If we have a look at this cable and we take our measurement, still 128, so no power per second is lost. But we can take the 4 packets coming out of the MV transformer and spread them out across 4 LV transformers. And then at that point, if we go back here and we start a new reading, we'll find that, yes, 512. So 512 EU into a single packet, into here, spits out 4 packets per second of 128 into these, and each of these spits out 4 packets of 32 EU per tick, which means that if we have a look here, we're looking at 512. But that's low voltage. So you could take all of that energy now and pump it into low voltage machines. Pretty nifty, right? Well, now we know that if we need to power a whole lot of machines, and we're going from high voltage to low voltage, we need more than a single low voltage transformer. We're going to want one MV transformer's fine, but we're going to want multiple LVs. You can scale that sort of as you see fit for whatever your situation is. I'm going to go to bed because we need sunlight for the rest of this demonstration because we are using solar power. Okay, as I was saying, you are going to possibly need to, depending on what you're doing in your own world and in your own setup, do a bit more experimentation. One thing that I thought was cool, though, and one thing that I'd like to demonstrate, is that you know how you can only send 32 EU per tick through an insulated copper cable? Well... Oh, I didn't bring enough. Oh, thank goodness. Technically, that's not true. A copper cable can only hold a single packet valued at 32 EU. So if the packet is bigger than that, it will catch fire and melt, and that's not good. It'll kind of just pop out of existence, really. It's not too detrimental, but it's annoying. But as it happens, you can shove as many packets as you want to. So here we have 4 packets of 32 EU per tick, right? So if we have a little gander right here at the end, look at that. Oh, 504? That's odd, and I'm wondering if maybe that's due to loss in the cable, because they're a little bit lossy copper cables. It's probably something like that. For the sake of this experiment, we're going to replace all of these with glass fiber cables. And then the power is just going to pass through this one. And if we check the reading here now, yeah, 512. Probably just a case of power being lost as it traveled through the copper cable, because those are notoriously lossy. You know, cables over a certain distance will lose power. But yeah, there you go, 512 EU per tick passing through a single copper cable. That's kind of cool. Oh, and I guess one thing I should note, because this might be confusing. I said before that each of these is outputting 32 EU per tick. And you might think, but times 4? That's only 128. Yes, but each one of these is outputting 4 packets of 32. So each of these is 128. Yeah, hopefully you understand. There are now 16 packets passing through here every second in order to get from 32 to 512. Have I explained all this in a way that makes sense? It makes sense in my brain, but I was worried when I was setting up this demonstration that I wouldn't be able to conjugate the proper verbiage to, like, explain it all. And hopefully it all checks out and it all makes sense to you, and it is applicable in your lives today. For God has a lot to say in his book. Boom, boom, you see, we know that God's word is for everyone. Now that our song is done, we'll take VeggieTales, anyone? No? Just me? VeggieTales? Larry? He's a cucumber? Larry boy? Rumor weed? Fib from outer space? Captain, the pirates who don't do anything. Come on. It's a dead audience here tonight. Alright, so what else do we need to talk about? Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to test, and I'm assuming that this is going to work exactly the way that I think that this is going to work, and I don't know why I didn't test it sooner, but I just wanted to check with an MFE whether or not it would accept 512 EU per tick. It should. It should accept all 4 packets from this bad boy. So if we first off orient it the correct direction, there we go. It should be receiving 512, and the way we check that is right here. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I missed. I think I've covered all the bases. Hopefully now you understand how energy works after that energy explanation. That is my intention, is to get everyone on the same page here, because I was a little bit confused as well, but to kind of just explain again how all of this actually matters to us, and just kind of reinforce the ideas and the lessons that we're taking away from all this. Gotta stop doing that. Up here, I was wrong. We could have had all of these go into a single MFSU, and it would have accepted all the power. But I was right that MFSU would have been a bottleneck, because the MFSU, no matter what, will only output 1 packet of 512 EU every tick. So that would have been bottlenecked. So it is a good thing that we're running it all out from all of these MFSUs. Although we could have pumped them all down directly into the basement. We really don't need the MFSUs. We could have pumped all of them directly into the PESU, but we didn't have a PESU at the time I built the solar shelf. And even now, I like having all of these here as like a buffer to store additional energy. It's just kind of a bit excessive and fun, isn't it? Speaking of PESUs, it's full. So while the PESU can connect to all of these MFSUs and receive an infinite amount of power, we're going to have to be a little bit careful when we start taking power out of it, and remember the lessons we learned about how it steps down and how going from, well, this ludicrous voltage to, say, extreme voltage. What is the IV? Which one are you? Insane voltage, extreme voltage, then high voltage. That's the steps we have to go through. We're going to go 1 pack of the ludicrous voltage, and that'll output 4 packs. But then we know once it goes into here, this will only accept 1 packet of the insane voltage, and output 4 packets of extreme voltage. And then this will only accept 1 of those extreme voltage packets, and output high voltage. So, 4 packets of it, at least. So we might actually, at some point, need If what we learned in the basement is to be extrapolated on indefinitely, which it is, you know, we learned that. I want to get back out to where we have the visual representation so that I'm not just saying nonsense without any sort of point of reference. Remember, we learned that this will receive a packet and output 4 packets, but what it will not do is when it gets to this machine, accept 4 packets and output 16. This machine is hard-coded. It's only going to accept 1 packet and output 4, no matter what. So, in order to get all 4 of those packets to use, we have to have 4 of these machines. So we can extrapolate that out and say that, well, if this is ludicrous voltage, and this is... I forget them. It's ludicrous, and then is it actually is that actually insane voltage? And then extreme voltage. So if that's ludicrous, 1 packet to here, that'll output 4. So we'll need 4 of these. Just 1 of these, 4 of these, and then 16 of these if we want to actually utilize all of the potential energy that can be output from the PESU. But I should note that we will not be outputting that much power, or rather putting that much power into the PESU to begin with. So we almost don't even really need to worry about extracting its full potential, because, I mean, how much voltage are we actually pumping in right now? We can kind of... Oh, you know what? We can actually get a pretty good estimate of how much power total, because all of these are wired in. And so half of the system is done. So if you have a look here, right now, we are pumping in absolutely nothing, because this thing is full. I have to do math now. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 to either side of the PESU, 10 gaps. So 10 times 512 is 5,120 EU per tick. That's the maximum being put into the PESU. So with 5,120 EU... Oh, wait. Duh. 512 times 10. Why did I need a calculator for that? Of course that's what that comes out to. Well, with 5,120 EU per tick being pumped into the PESU, if we want to keep an even in and out, we can just have the 1 IV, the 1 EV, and then 2.5 HV transformers. 3 would... I might as well just go ahead and make 4. There's no reason not to. But that would give us the, 4 packets out of here. Doesn't matter, because only 1 will be accepted here. 4 out of there to 4 of these will give us more than 5,120 EU per tick potential, but that's how much is being put in. So, and we're not going to be using that. You kind of see where I'm going with all this. It's all math. It's all math. But hopefully my explanation has helped clear some things up to you. And you can't say that I'm wrong, because I literally demonstrated it to you right before your very eyes. In the lab, which is what this part of the factory is, I guess. It's the lab. I'm now going to dismantle these solar panels. That one's at a different angle than all the others. It doesn't matter. Oh, some of them are just like that. I guess I didn't place them all the same. I didn't realize they could be placed differently. Oh, no. If I go outside and I look at the solar shelf, am I going to notice that some of the solar panels are at a different angle to some of the other ones? All of these are right. All of these are right. So far, so good. Oh, no. Oh, okay, I'm going to have to replace some of these. Not that it matters in terms of functionality. I just want them to all be placed the same. And at some point, I started placing all of these in sideways instead of long ways. This is literally just aesthetic. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether they are like this or whether they are like this, other than it mattering to me. I think that... Oh, dear Lord. Oh... Oh, no. Wait a minute. What? What the heck? Oh. It's all flat now. It's all flat. It's not all flat. It's all been cleared away. What the heck? The whole game just froze there for a minute. Okay, well that's... I mean, that's not that concerning. Gosh, the lack of space between their scary obsidian wall and my house is a little bit concerning. This house seems to be the bigger issue. I'm gonna just throw that out there. If we have a look at our map, this is a pretty sizable space they got here. This is a whole island. Actually, in terms of land mass, they're pretty equal. As am I, for that matter. Well, no, I'm smaller than both of them. Is it the whole island now? They got little islands, too. Okay. It's the whole island now. Oh, jeez. I don't know what to say about that. I didn't know this was a thing in Minecraft that could just start to turn into the end. Which mod is this, or is this vanilla? I'm not super familiar with what's been new in vanilla Minecraft since like version 1.7. That's the I don't even think I played that version vanilla. I think 1.3 was the last time I played vanilla Minecraft. Like really played it. So I don't know. Is this normal? Does this just happen? I keep thinking it's all part of a mod, but it might not be. This might just be what happens now in Minecraft. Oh, goodness, there's a bunch of islands. So does this mean this can spread to other land masses? It's not just this one island. Oh, jeez, is that a sheep? See what happens when it starts to cross over to here. What happens when it makes the jump across that little narrow river? Is it just gonna go all the way? This can't... At least it's well lit. It's very well lit, I'll give it that. Well... I am concerned. But what can I do, realistically? Nothing. Nothing I can do. Nothing I can do other than go back to my house. And thank you folks for watching. Comment down below. Let me know if this is normal. I'm gonna go fix the orientation of my solar panels, and I'll see you folks in the next episode. I know, this one was really short. It was just a demonstration of how power works. I thought that would be useful for some folks. It's a mini episode, I don't know. Thank you folks for watching, God bless you, and I'll see you later. Goodbye!